How do YouTube? So it's Tuesday morning, my second full day in Yorkshire Dales, and I've driven about 20 minutes west from where I'm camping to the village of Leck, not far from Kirkby Lonsdale, and I'm starting to walk from here. That will go up to the ridge to the west of Whernside, where I was yesterday. I parked in Leck because there's a reasonably sized car park and they can be quite hard to come by in the Yorkshire Dales, I found. They only ask for a £1 donation for your stay, which is quite, well, it's very reasonable actually. The route I'm following is about 13 miles long. It's one I got from the Walking Englishman. It's a really good website I've been using for a few years. It's got walks all around the country, not just up north. But whenever I go away somewhere new like this, I normally look at his website and find a handful of walks to take with me. You can download the routes on GPS, on GPX for free. Yeah, highly recommend it. I'll put a link below to his website. Yeah, it should be a good walk, and I'll see how it goes. Although you can't see it just now, we're walking beside Leck Beck, just down to my left. Beck being a name for a river up here. I was reading about the terminology up here for like fell and gill and all that sort of thing. A lot of it comes from the Vikings and their influence many years ago. So I believe today's walk starts in Lancashire, but I'm still in the Yorkshire Dales, so it still counts. And it's quite nice in a way to be away from the campsite physically, just to move away from that environment you get used to and see something different. I mean, I feel fine when I'm walking somewhere and doing something, but when I'm at a campsite on my own and surrounded by couples and that sort of thing and groups of friends, I can easily feel a bit lonely. It's nice to not spend too much time there, you know, and find that balance. But yeah, out here in the countryside, climbing hills and fells, following rivers, I could do it all day long if I wanted to. So we're going to head on towards East Kirk, then up towards I think it's a pile of stone called Richard Man, then up to Crag Hill. I think there's a trig point up there. Then we come around to Gragareth, another trig point, and then back down here somewhere and down the road towards the car. Quite a marshy, wet and boggy section along here, and I know there's more to come a bit further on. I'm reading a book at the minute called Bothy Tales by, I think the author is John Burns. I recommend the book if you get a chance to read it. It tells, or shares the stories of his own personal bothy experiences, trekking between bothies, mostly in the Highlands in Scotland. He experiences quite a few boggy areas and gets stuck on one or two occasions. Unlike Rain and Wind's Assault Path, this book's really well written. Just come down a very steep descent, a very short one, and I'm off piste deliberately, away from the right of way. It looks like I'm going to hop over the fence here and carry on the way I want to go. Not the first to have done this. This kind of feature is quite common. I've seen it a few times on Exmoor. The idea is that when the water's flowing, any debris like fallen trees or whatever will get caught here and not have an effect further downstream, doing any further damage. It's quite nice in the way that the bed is dry, because I've been hopping from side to side of the riverbank to or find the path of least resistance, really. Well, this feels like a really special place, like very few people ever come here. I think my next move is to go up around here, cross over and continue in that direction, up towards the higher ground. Before that I'm going to have something to eat and a cup of tea. I think I've earned it. I've been walking about 2 hours now, so it's 11 o'clock. It looks as though people have gone through or over the fence there and then made a way up the hillside around the top there. I was thinking of going this way, but the going is less obvious. There's no guarantee how safe it would be to cross over the hole at the top there, so I think as I'm going that way anyway, on that side of the water, I'm going to try and go up this path. Okay, change my mind a bit. Try and go up this side. Hopefully it'll work out. And there's my footbridge I was hoping to see. There's even a stile here as well. Just look at the rock formations here. The way the water's just worn into it over time. These amazing shapes. So right now I am here by the footbridge. I want to get up to here, Richard Man. The walking Englishman did a route that went basically along the spine, like this. He found a way through the boundary line into the stones. With a compass bearing, I'm going to try and do that route as best as I can. If I can at least aim to the left of where I want to be, somewhere along here, and then follow the boundary up. But the main aim is to cover that ground without travelling too far. This is definitely the hard way to go. I had quite a big meal last night, well, high in the calories. I think it was 600 calories in my meal. I had one of those Summit to Eat chicken fried rice meals, which I brought from the Fell Store website. You can buy food from online. I don't normally eat chicken fried rice, so I can't really compare it to the real thing, but I'd give it 7.5 out of 10. A bit too many peppers for my liking, a bit too hot, a little bit, not too much. But it's quite nice otherwise. I don't know how long that took, but I finally reached the opposite boundary. My advice, don't go that way. It's bloody hard work. Next time, follow the boundary round the outside. It might take a bit longer, but it should be a bit easier. Now on towards Richard Man. Yeah, I nearly forgot. I got across the boundary to go over this side. I don't recommend climbing over fences or any kind of wall to get where you need to go, but on this occasion I can't see another way over or through. There's no gate or stile to be seen. I could be walking a lot further trying to find one, so I've done it on the one occasion this time. Apologies to the landowner. Yeah, making good ground now. Heading towards this Richard Man stone. It better be worth it. This must be it. A pile of stones called Richard Man. No idea why. But I finally made it. I've come a long way. Somewhere deep in that valley. Still to go around to Gragareth before the end. I must be about halfway round now. Before I have lunch then I'm going to make one last push up to Crag Hill at 682 metres. Okay, here's the highest point of Crag Hill. As for the trig point, no, it's over here. This has got to be, without doubt, the best views I've seen this week yet. Over there somewhere is the Lake District, and I think the hills in front of the Howgill Fells. Maybe not those ones. I think it's those over there. I can just see Ingleborough standing proud through the haze. That's where I'm going tomorrow. But right now, don't know what those stars mean, but right now it's lunchtime. On the menu this week we have, I've eaten a flapjack and I forgot my serene malt loaf this morning. But my sandwiches are sandwich thins on a wrap, each one packed with squeezy cheese and some slices of chorizo, which I've been told will keep quite well without being in the fridge for a few days. And I've got melting chocolate and granola bars, and somewhere in here is an apple. So the rest of my walk today will follow that ridge line there towards Gragareth, then gradually down to the car, but further ahead somewhere at the highest point on this route, which is Great Coombe. It's only a few metres higher and there's no trig point, but it's on the way. I feel confident I've done the hard graft from this walk. It has been definitely the most challenging walk I've done this year so far. There's still a fair bit to go, probably got 4.5 miles left I reckon. A little bit of off-piste navigation to follow, but it's mostly going downhill, thankfully. This is always good to see volunteers at work restoring the original dry stone walls. This is Great Coombe, the unambiguous highest point of today's walk. 687 metres above sea level. Over there is Whernside, the feature of yesterday's walk. I'm walking towards Green Hill. The going here remains fairly wet underfoot, a bit marshy in places. I've seen nobody else apart from the paraglider for probably 3.5 hours now. Quite a long time. It's been nice, really nice. I need to follow that boundary line there towards that hill, but there's no apparent way to cross over easily. It looks like some kind of memorial. There's initials here, WB J Hollin 1893. One there I can't quite read. 1837 ITC. I think 83. I stand corrected. How did I miss those two stones there? It would have been so much easier. Just coming up towards Gragareth, the final summit of the day, and I was thinking if I had to choose my favourite of the Yorkshire Three Peaks right now, I would choose Ingleborough. I mean, just look at it, how prominent it is. Ingleborough is more like a mountain almost by itself. It's got that prominence and the shape of it, a bit like Kilimanjaro, I think, on a smaller scale, of course. I thought I could see a trig point just now, but then it walked away, so it must have been a sheep. At long last, here we are then, Gragareth, at 627 metres above sea level. Done. I can see now why no one else comes here. It's quite a challenge to go around that way, certainly. This morning we were up over that way, came along there, had lunch over on that corner, all the way along this and up this to here. Now I'm going back down. I've just taken my final compass bearing of the day, heading down towards the three men of Gragareth. I believe they're three piles of stones or cairns, also known as the Watchmen. They kind of watch over the valley beneath me. Three piles of cairns, and to the right we've got three cairns that look very similar, but they're only called cairns on the map. I'm not sure what significance they have in the area. I'll have to try and do some research on this. It's interesting, you've got one set there and one set there. There's also a singular cairn to the left of these three. So these are the other three men. They're actually quite tall. I mean, I'm 6'1", and these are around about my height, I'd say. Then I also wonder, why are there so many rocks here, just on the ground? I mean, where have they come from? How did they get here and why? It's a bit like being on Cadair Idris on the summit there. You get this huge boulder fields of rock. But this one's more like the ones I've seen in the Brecon Beacons. It's more of a cylinder or a Dalek type shape. My route now heads down the hill to the left of this farm, and I'll rejoin that road for the final 2 or 3 miles of the walk. I want to say thank you for watching the video, and thanks also to the Walking Englishman for supplying this route online, making it available for us to follow. I'll be filming again tomorrow, doing my walk around Ingleborough. I'll see you there, and take care in the meantime.
Bringing the shop on it,